My name is Scott Kelly. I'm commander of STS-118, and you're watching NASA television.
Endeavour launch director.
Endeavour go.
Okay, Scott, the weather is great. Endeavour's ready to fly after 4.5 years, so good luck, Godspeed, and have some fun up there.
Well, thanks, Mike. This is serious business we're in here. I'm proud of your team for getting Endeavour ready to go fly. I'm also proud of my crew and the rest of the astronaut office for their competence and professionalism in consistently making something that is incredibly difficult look easy. We'll see you in a couple weeks, and thanks for loaning us your space shuttle.
Good, Scott. Thanks a lot. Take good care of that great ship, Endeavour.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Endeavour, expanding the International Space Station while creating a classroom in space.
Houston, Endeavour, roll program.
Roger, roll, Endeavour. Houston now controlling the flight of Endeavour. The space shuttle begins its journey back into orbit. Endeavour rolling onto the proper alignment, heads down, wings level for the 8.5-minute ride to orbit, taking aim on the International Space Station for docking on Friday. 30 seconds into the flight, the 3 liquid fuel main engines will soon throttle back to 72% of rated performance in the bucket to reduce the stress on the shuttle as it breaks through the sound barrier. This view from long-range trackers, now from a camera on the external fuel tank showing the bird's eye view of Endeavour heading towards space. 54 seconds into the flight, Endeavour already 8 miles downrange, standing by for the throttle up call from Capcom Chris Ferguson.
Endeavour, go with throttle up.
Go at throttle up.
The throttle up call acknowledged by Commander Scott Kelly, joined on the flight deck by pilot Charlie Hobaugh, flight engineer Rick Mastracchio and Tracy Caldwell, Dave Williams, Al Drew, and Barbara Morgan seated down on the middeck, Morgan racing towards space on the wings of a Legacy. 1 minute, 30 seconds into the flight, Endeavour currently traveling almost 2,000 miles an hour, 14 miles in altitude, 15 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. 3 good fuel cells, 3 good auxiliary power units, 3 good main engines. Endeavour flying straight as an arrow, 1 minute, 55 seconds into the flight, standing by for solid rocket booster separation. Booster officer confirms staging a good solid rocket booster separation, guidance now converging. Endeavour's onboard computers commanding the main engine nozzles to gently swivel, aiming Endeavour for a precise keyhole in space for main engine cutoff. 2 minutes, 25 seconds into the flight. The propulsion officer reports the orbital maneuvering system engines have ignited, providing Endeavour with a kick in the pants for the next minute and a half, assisting the shuttle and its crew on its climb to orbit. Endeavour 40 miles in altitude, 59 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, traveling more than 3,400 miles an hour. The guidance officer here in Mission Control confirming that Endeavour's computers are commanding the main engines to swivel again, enabling the shuttle to roll to a heads-up position above its fuel tank. This will enable Endeavour to gain better communications through the tracking and data relay satellite system heading uphill.
104.
Single engine Zaragoza 104.
Endeavour, press to MECO.
Press to MECO.
That call indicating that even in the event of an engine failure, we can make normal orbital cutoff targets. Endeavour looking very fine right now. 3 good main engines, 3 good fuel cells, 3 good auxiliary power units, traveling more than 11,000 miles an hour, 66 miles in altitude, almost 500 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. Endeavour currently traveling at 15,000 miles an hour. 20 seconds of powered flight remaining, standing by for main engine cutoff, which will be followed a few seconds later by the separation of the external fuel tank. Booster officer confirms main engine cutoff, standing by for external tank separation. External tank separation confirmed. Endeavour now in its preliminary orbit. For Barbara Morgan and her crewmates, class is in session.
Dave Williams coming up from the middeck fairly quickly. He's in charge of using a camera with a long-range lens to document the tank out the overhead windows. And Tracy Caldwell, within seconds, had her helmet off and in its protective case. She too assisting with the documentation of the external tank with a small video camera. Rick Mastracchio handing her that camera as he follows along with ascent checklist tasks with the commander and pilot. The video and still photography of the external tank complements the digital umbilical well camera images that also were taken automatically, that digital camera in the umbilical well of the orbiter.
Clearly, it's a real privilege to be here in space. Our crew has obviously been working very hard, getting the shuttle configured for the rest of our mission. As you can see there, I think there were just a couple of the crew members still working behind us. We have had a really long day. Everything's going well, and I'll turn the mic over to Barb for a few comments.
Thanks, Scott. Hey, it's great being up here. We've been working really hard, but it's a really good, fun kind of work, so we're really having a great time. And we're very much looking forward to docking with the International Space Station tomorrow and joining in with our crewmates, Clay, Oleg, and Fyodor. I guess one thing I wanted to tell you about was when you first get into orbit, it takes a little getting used to, and all of yesterday, even though I kept my head upright so it looked like a normal ceiling and a normal floor and normal walls, I felt like I was upside down the whole time. And the other surprise is when you have something that you just set aside, even if it has Velcro on it, you set it aside and within 30 seconds it's gone and you have no idea where it went to. So we've got a lot of fun challenges up here and we'll be playing some treasure hunts.
External cameras on the International Space Station now with a view of the Space Shuttle Endeavour. This at a distance of about 40 nautical miles as the gap continues to close between the two spacecraft in preparation for docking just 4 hours from now. Now back on the flight deck of Endeavour, standing by for the engine firing in just 10 seconds. The propulsion officer reports that the engine firing is underway, very visible from cameras on the International Space Station.
Good burn, Endeavour. No further trim required.
Copy.
Endeavour, this is ISS. We got you loud and clear on the big loop. Hello, Scott.
doing, Clay? We're about 30,000 feet away. You're looking good.
All right, man. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yeah, surely.
We're waiting for you.
Endeavour's 1,700 feet away from the station, closing at 2.5 feet per second.
Initiating RPM. ISS copies.
One degree per second orbital backflip being executed by Commander Scott Kelly aboard Endeavour.
Degrees till the start of official photos. Station Endeavour, start photos. Start photos.
ISS copy. Start photos, Houston.
Fyodor Yurchikhin and Oleg Kotov now using their digital cameras for about 90 seconds of imagery of the shuttle Endeavour. Clay Anderson shooting video at the same time.
Station Endeavour, that's the end of official photos. The rest are for fun.
ISS copies, Houston. We're still snapping for fun.
Cameras on the International Space Station looking down at the shuttle Endeavour as we approach an orbital sunrise over the southern Pacific Ocean.
MCC Houston, MCC Moscow, and Endeavour. Endeavour arrived to ISS station. Welcome on board, Scott and your crew.
Thank you, Fyodor.
And with that, hatches open at 3:04 p.m. Central Time. First aboard, Commander Scott Kelly. Dave Williams following him. The Destiny Laboratory, the venue for a film festival, as the 10 crew members fully documenting their arrival and the arrival of the Endeavour crew on board the International Space Station. Barbara Morgan shooting a video that will be part of an educational film that will be edited post-flight for distribution to schools around the country.
Station Endeavour on the big loop. We are at the S5 low hover position and go for maneuver to pre-grapple.
On the big loop, Houston copies, and we're ready for you to continue on with step 3.
Station shuttle on the big loop. SRMS is in S5 handoff position, brakes on. Here, go to grapple. For Endeavour and Houston, we have grappled the S5, and Tracy and Rick, you have a go to ungrapple.
Thanks, Coach. We're putting that in work.
A good view of the 2-ton S5 truss affixed to the end of Canadarm2. Pilot Charlie Hobaugh maneuvering this new component for the International Space Station to the pre-install position at the end of the starboard truss section of the International Complex. This view showing the S5 truss moving into position in the pre-install position to be aligned precisely and then mated to the end of the S4 truss.
How you guys doing?
Doing good, Trey. Doing great.
Okay, I see you coming out the airlock. I heard that the hooks were locked and the reels are unlocked. You got the thermal hatch cover open. Coming out. Rick, your first safety tether is going to handrail 0550.
Copy. Okay, Trace, the bag's tethered on 2206.
Copy.
Rick Mistracchio on the left, Dave Williams on the right as they assess the position of soft capture pins
You got
at the end of the S4 truss, to which S5 will be attached a short time from now.
Good motion. Sure. Corner 2 course alignment cone is entering the plane. Name the corner 3. Looks like we're going to need a little bit of right, maybe. Just starting the rub. Corner 2 is going up. Corner 3 is going up. Yeah. Keep it coming a little more. Keep it coming. 2 is up. 4 is going up. 3 and 1 are up. George, it looks perfect. 3 down. 3 is down.
Precision flying of the S5 truss, courtesy of the Canadarm2 by pilot Charlie Hobaugh with the assistance of flight engineer Clay Anderson in the Destiny Laboratory.
The boards.
Hey, Dave, we'll take a look at your gloves when you're ready.
Okay, now would be a good time. Left glove. Looks good. Right glove. Looks good. And the view is incredible.
That's awesome. Good reporting.
Two hours, 16 minutes into today's spacewalk. Rick Mastracchio and Dave Williams working on the S5 truss segment, now a permanent fixture on the International Space Station.
Hey guys, take 1 second. We're passing very close to where we launched from.
Cool. Great view of it.
Can you guys see it?
Looking. Just waving at everybody. Florida. Pretty cool.
Can you guys see it? Can you make it out?
Yeah. It's very cool.
A good view in the Destiny Laboratory of the International Space Station. Pilot Charlie Hobaugh in the foreground, Clay Anderson in the background, manning their positions at the robotics workstation, preparing to maneuver the Canadarm2 over to the starboard sill of the orbiter to grapple the 50-foot-long boom extension, the orbiter boom sensor system, which then will be handed off to the shuttle's robotic arm under the control of Tracy Caldwell and Barbara Morgan. Canadarm2 has now released the orbiter boom sensor system and is backing away. The boom in the firm grasp of the shuttle robotic arm. The Payload Deployment and Retrieval Systems Officer now reports that the arm is at the correct orientation for the first scan position. That will be of the thermal barrier for the main landing gear door directly underneath the belly of the orbiter itself.
And Houston, Endeavour, how do you like that view?
Endeavour, Houston, nice job on the arm motion. Step 4.1, we like your picture and you go to proceed.
Okay, we'll start the recording.
This is Mission Control Houston, the shuttle and station tracking across the equator, traveling northeasterly, capturing images of Hurricane Flossie off in the distance. The hurricane tracking southeast of the Hawaiian Islands.
Okay, guys. Well, as long as you're happy with your initial tether configs, I heard them earlier. You guys are good to go.
Okay.
Got the hatch open. Come on out, Dave.
All right, I copy that. And Rick, do show me in good config.
Canadian Space Agency astronaut Dave Williams, the third Canadian to walk in space, emerging from the Quest airlock. And Rick Mastracchio now moving out of Quest, wearing the suit bearing the red stripes, EV1, extravehicular crew member number 1. Dave Williams is EV2, wearing the pure white suit.
Well, Rick, you're looking great. Top of the morning to you. All righty. Good rep on the APFR.
As Dave Williams installs the portable foot restraint at the end of Canadarm2, you're looking from the helmet camera view from Rick Mistracchio as he peels back the thermal shroud covering the failed control moment gyroscope and its housing in the Z1 truss. This is the gyro that will be removed and replaced with a new one that is sitting in a spare parts platform at the rear of Endeavour's cargo bay at the moment. A good view of the two spacewalkers. This from a camera on the Port 1 truss of the International Space Station. Dave Williams is in the lower of the two spacewalkers' positions, Rick Mistracchio at the top. Mistracchio continues to survey the work site where the failed control moment gyroscope is located. Dave Williams is in the process of hooking up a bracket upon which the failed CMG will be mounted once it's removed from its slot.
Okay, about 9.5 turns on the last one. Grace?
9.5?
Yep, on both 2.
Copy.
Doing great.
Looking good, Rick. Nice and easy.
Do you have any camera views on the clearance?
Yeah, I'm looking at you guys right now. I see more of Rick right now, and looks real clear.
Copy that.
Rick Mistracchio with a firm grasp on the 600-pound control moment gyroscope, the failed gyro having been removed from its slot in the Z1 truss of the International Space Station.
Dave, I'm waiting on your call.
Okay, and let me come down, get a hand on it. Okay, I have both heels locked in place. My mini workstation end effector is locked. Got a red on it, and I've got 2 hands on it. Yeah, it felt like it's come loose.
Sure has. Sure has.
Okay, Scorch, you gotta go.
Okay, we're ready, Dave. Hang on tight. All right, good clearance, looking good.
Rick, look to the right at a safety tether. It's all clear.
My safety tether's clear, yes.
I'm talking about Dave.
It's not connected to structure, so yes. All right, you're well clear of everything.
Thanks, man. Got a lot of mass.
This is not a jettison mission, okay?
Copy.
A panoramic view of Dave Williams as he is being maneuvered by Charlie Hobaugh and Clay Anderson on the Canadarm2.
And Scorch, just to give you a heads up, I have no visual on the clearance of the UTA. Is stationed forward of the tram we're going to.
You covered, Dave.
Copy.
Two hours, 34 minutes into the spacewalk. Mistracchio has adjusted tethers and is now making his way up to join Dave Williams at the external stowage platform number 2 that is affixed to the Quest airlock.
Okay, now push it down. A little more counterclockwise. There we go.
That felt good.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, I'm holding it. Okay. Okay, great job, Rick.
Oh, you too.
As you watch Dave Williams in the Destiny Laboratory of the International Space Station recording data, from some of the work that he's been doing on board. Barbara Morgan is about to put the shuttle's robotic arm in motion, moving it down towards the rear of Endeavour's cargo bay for a grapple of the external stowage platform.
Stevie, just getting you caught up with where we are. We have now grappled to ESP3. We are at finishing up step 2, and we're moving on to step 1 of the Ember.
We copy, and we're with you. We watched that grapple on the big screen here in Mission Control. Congratulations, Barbara.
She says thanks.
Al Drew, now in the Destiny laboratory, hauling cargo from the Space Hab module in Endeavour's cargo bay into the International Space Station. Cargo operations continue ahead of schedule. Charlie Hobaugh, Endeavour's pilot, who is also in Destiny, you see in the floorboards right now, will be operating the station robotic arm to take the handoff along with Clay Anderson. He is also working to help Drew at the moment with some of the cargo transfer and stowage work.
Houston Endeavour on the big loop for ESP3. We are at low hover position, setting up for the maneuver to port.
Having reached the low hover position, Morgan now will press ahead and continue to maneuver the external spare parts platform over for a handoff to the station's robotic arm.
Houston Endeavour on the big loop. We have grapple. The SRMS is go for release.
We think it was pretty considerate of you to hand a big birthday present over to the space station on this day.
Well, Stevie, we were happy to get rid of that from the payload bay and hand it over to the station. It was not an easy maneuver, especially winging it over the port side like that, and I think Barb did an absolutely fantastic job.
And in the station flight control room, the mechanical systems officer now confirms that the external stowage platform has been firmly captured to the P3 truss of the International Space Station. It is now hard-mated, and the green light will be given momentarily for pilot Charlie Hobaugh to ungrapple ESP3. It is now a permanent fixture on the International Space Station at 11:18 a.m. Central Time.
We have the spouses and family members representing just about every member of the crew, just to my left here. And the spouses from every family have contributed to bringing lunch for the two shuttle and ISS control teams here today. So basically, lunch is on you guys, and we want to thank you and got a lot of smiles going on down here in the room from your families.
Oh, that's mighty nice of us. You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
And Mission Specialist Caldwell Tracy, happy birthday to you, first of all. Did you get any presents from the crew?
Actually, I got a timeline with a whole list of tasks to do, but I did get a really nice wake-up call from some kids in California that I'm pretty close to, and I got a nice card from the crew and my parents and my family, and just a little knick-knack here and there, but and a really nice happy birthday wish from the team on the ground. So.
Barbara Morgan, 21 years you've been waiting for this trip. Was it worth the wait?
Well, actually, it hasn't been a wait. It's been a work, and it's been a really good work. Training for this for a long, long time, and not just myself, but all of us have been training many, many years for this. And I think I can speak for all of us to say it's definitely worth it. We're enjoying the work very much. It's hard, it's challenging, and it's a lot of fun.
In the Quest airlock are two spacewalkers for today. They are in the final process of being helped into their extravehicular mobility units by Endeavour Commander Scott Kelly, who's working with Mastracchio to put his gloves on at the moment. Just out of the field of view at the bottom of your screen, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Dave Williams working with Clay Anderson. Now in the Quest airlock, intravehicular crew member Tracy Caldwell providing high fives for the two spacewalkers as they prepare to be disengaged from the side walls of the equipment lock to be moved into the crew lock, where Caldwell and Scott Kelly will position them appropriately before closing the hatch, setting the stage for the start of the depressurization of that outermost compartment prior to the beginning of today's spacewalk.
And Houston Endeavor on Air Ground 2, we're beginning the arm maneuver.
We copy and we're watching.
Barbara Borgen now maneuvering the shuttle's robotic arm. You can see it in motion, moving it toward the appropriate viewing position to provide situational awareness and television views of the work that Rick Mastracchio and Clay Anderson will be conducting to remove the S-band antenna assembly from the P6 truss and to move it over to the Port 1 truss, where it will be permanently installed.
All right, Clay. All right, here we go. Hold on 1 second. Okay, here you go.
From Rick Mastracchio's helmet camera, good view as Clay Anderson emerges to begin the second spacewalk of his career. 214 miles over the South Pacific, approaching the west coast of South America. Rick Mastracchio, at the end of the station's robotic arm, takes a ride to the P6 solar array truss structure.
Yes, we do. And just so you know, we've got really bad comm on ground 2, so we're probably going to have to talk on the big loop mostly.
Okay, that's what I'm on. Rick, you're going for a ride. Here we go.
Ready.
A view from the top as Rick Mastracchio at the end of the Canadarm2 reaches the S-band antenna subassembly on the P6 truss. In the upper left-hand portion of your screen, you can see the canister, the mast canister for the P6 truss. This is where the two sets of solar arrays are now folded and locked in place in their respective mast canisters.
Okay, soft dock and ready. I'll move the scoop to.
Now it goes on a dummy box.
And it's the transponder dummy box?
You got it.
An outstanding view as the shuttle station complex tracks from southwest to northeast, approaching the west coast of South America. Clay Anderson on the left, Rick Mastracchio on the right.
Just hold that position. You're clear. I've got it.
If you got everything clear and you got a good hold on it, I'll start backing you up.
Yeah, Rick.
My one course, I need Rick to go inboard a little bit more to clear the handle.
Yep. Okay, I see him clear that hand.
I'm clear now. Okay, Scorch, I'm ready to rock and roll.
There you go.
Got the message, Trey.
Copy. Houston, you copy? He's got the message on this PG2.
And Houston EV3, there's no jettison today, correct? No jettison today, Clay. Wow. How you doing over there, Clay? Oh, just fine. Enjoying the view. It's magnificent.
Four wheels have now been locked down on the first of the two CETA carts onto the starboard 1 truss. So CETA 1 now firmly installed on the starboard truss, and now the two spacewalkers will make their way back to the Port 1 truss to do the same detachment and relocation of the second of these two crew equipment translation carts.
Ready? Yep. Okay, here we go. Hey, Rick, lay on your back. Hold still. Yeah, sure. Man, who put these CETA carts here? We'll have to move them
Verify. Let's get a glove check on you.
Okay. Hey, Trace, on my left thumb, I actually do have a little bit of a hole in the Vectran. And if it helps any, Trace, when I push on that Vectran a little, I could actually see tiny metal fibers underneath it. I mean, I could see the surface under the Vectran, in other words.
Guys, we need Clay to stand by. And we need Clay to stand by, and because we do have a hole in the Vectran, we're going to have to terminate Rick's activity today. So we need him to head back to the airlock and do the terminate procedure in the cup. I want a cup checklist.
In the Destiny Laboratory, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Dave Williams is busy taking digital photography, close-up photography of the extravehicular mobility unit gloves, the spacesuit gloves, all of them, all of the sets of the gloves. Each crew member has 2 sets of gloves available to them, a prime and a backup set. This digital photography will be sent down for spacewalking technicians and engineers to analyze and take a look at to see what their condition is and to make sure that they are in good shape to support any future spacewalk activity that will be conducted during this mission, as well as the post-Endeavour time frame during what is known as stage activities, when the International Space Station crews press ahead with their complement of work in between shuttle flights.
Barb, we have been standing by, waiting for your signal from space for 21 years. These students are a go to ask you the questions from space.
How and where do you sleep on the space station, and do you ever sleep spacewalk?
Okay, well, Al is going to give you a demonstration of how we sleep. We've got these sleeping bags here. Okay, and Al is crawling into our sleeping bag. You can really sleep in any position here, right side up, upside down, it doesn't matter. But the main thing is you want to keep from floating around so that you don't hit your head into anything and either hurt yourself or hurt the equipment. So we have these sleeping bags. It's just kind of like a sleeping bag liner, and it has clips on it, and you can clip it anywhere you want.
What is your favorite space food?
Well, all the food is pretty tasty. I think my favorite is beef stroganoff. We have a little galley, a little kitchen area where we dispense water into our food because it comes up dehydrated, and we mush it around with our fingers a little bit to get the water well mixed, and then we stick it in the oven and warm it up for a few minutes, and then take a pair of scissors and cut the package open and eat it. We also really enjoy things like M&Ms, and we'll show you why.
Did you have a special teacher or mentor when you were a kid? Who was it, and why were they special to you?
You know, that's an interesting question because all through life it seems like you have special teachers. From when you're a kid in elementary school, up through high school, up through college, up through graduate school, and then well beyond that when you're out of college. And some of my mentors that have meant more than anything to me are 7 very special people who I believe are mentors to you too. And that was the Challenger crew. They were my teachers, and I believe they are teaching us today still. And the benefits of what you all get to do in the Challenger centers are a result of their great teaching.
Thank you, the entire Endeavour crew, for sharing this time with children all across the country. Thank you, Endeavour.
And Dr. Scobie Rogers and all of the students and the Challenger Center staff, to all of you, thank you so much. This has been a real pleasure for us. Your questions were fabulous. We look forward to answering many, many more. And here's to you folks. We love you guys. Thanks.
And ISS on Space Ground 2 for Scorch. When you get there, step 1 of the AUI Connect is complete.
Are you spying on us?
Charlie Hobaugh and Clay Anderson, along with Al Drew in the Destiny laboratory of the International Space Station, talking to station communicator Tony Antonelli in the Space Station Flight Control Room about the start of some of the early steps in the procedures regarding this audio interface unit troubleshooting plan that is on tap for today.
In Houston on 2 for step 1.4.9, while we ran this first self-test, we never really saw a good waveform. We got spurious waveforms, you know, it kind of came in and out. It says the test data acquisition is complete. We could use some guidance.
Okay, yeah, we copy 149, and give me a second.
Good view of mission specialist Al Drew in the Destiny laboratory along with Clay Anderson as they work to read voltage readings, signal strength basically from the input connector using a scope meter for this docked audio troubleshooting plan that is underway to try to alleviate the cause of intermittent and broken signals. Basically, over the past few years, this audio system has had intermittent communications problems as well as some non-functional communications on what is called ICOM, or internal communications that the crew uses to talk to one another on board. This view now in the Quest airlock as Clay Anderson has joined Dave Williams, the two spacewalkers for tomorrow's excursion outside the airlock in the fourth and final spacewalk of the mission. For the spacewalk tomorrow, Dave Williams will be extravehicular crew member number 2. He will be wearing the spacesuit with no stripes. Clay Anderson, EV3, or extravehicular crew member number 3, will be wearing the suit with the broken horizontal stripes. You can see the lower torso of that floating back at the intersection between the equipment lock and the crew lock section of the Quest airlock.
I'm Patrick Peterson with Florida Today. I represent a newspaper that is in the Kennedy Space Center area, and many of our readers do not agree with the decision to fly back without repairs. And for Commander Kelly, I would like to ask what you would say to someone who perhaps doesn't have the technical knowledge and yet feels that NASA should go the extra mile and provide an extra margin of safety for you and the crew on your return flight.
We agree absolutely 100% with the decision to not repair the damage. There was a lot of engineering rigor put into making this decision. It took some time, but that was because there was a lot of testing going on, ArcJet testing in particular, that took some time to get done. Two independent teams looked at this, and some of the data, or actually the data indicates that without damage, this aluminum structure below the orbiter sees a temperature of about 300 degrees. With the damage that we have, the maximum temperature it will see is 340 degrees. The failing point of aluminum, I think, is somewhere over 1,000 degrees. So even though a repair could potentially provide a little bit more margin, there is certainly more risk in doing the repair than we're willing to take. You know, we are concerned. We were certainly concerned that if we did the repair, that we could potentially cause more damage to the underside of the orbiter. So, since a repair was not really warranted based on the data and the testing, we 100%, the shuttle crew and the station crew actually agreed with the decision not to do the repair.
Clay Anderson, as EV or extravehicular crew member number 3 today, will be wearing the suit with the horizontal broken red stripes. Dave Williams, as EV2, extravehicular crew member number 2, will be wearing the suit with no stripes today. This will be the third spacewalk for each crew member in their careers. The third spacewalk for Williams, of course, on this mission. Clay Anderson having conducted a previous spacewalk prior to STS-118 on July 23rd as an expedition spacewalk with Commander Fyodor Yurchikhin.
I'm just out of the airlock right now, and I'll get in config to get the waist tethers all hooked up, the safety tethers, I should say.
Dave Williams beginning the third spacewalk of his career, having logged 12 hours, 45 minutes of spacewalking time on this mission.
Getting ready to put my... Okay, Clay, I've got you there, just on my side. Good job, man. Thank you, sir. All right. Now, if you can rotate toward me. Okay. That can work.
Clay Anderson now joining Dave Williams outside the Quest airlock. Anderson will assist Williams to restow the hand controller on his safer unit.
Way to go.
Good job, man. All right, stand by. Really appreciate it.
Well done.
Yep, you owe me big time.
I appreciate it.
And a good view of the Quest airlock. On the top, some of the, around the circumference of the airlock itself, the high pressurized oxygen and nitrogen tanks that are used to resupply the airlock for U.S.-based spacewalks. On the far right side of your screen, you see the Zarya module, the Russian segment of the station, and at the very top of Zarya is the Soyuz TMA-10 spacecraft.
And that's 2 turns?
2 turns.
Okay, that can work.
Okay. Hey, Clay, you got that bag where you want it?
Good, with an adjustable off my wrist and the large small that's on the bag on handrail 556. And the thermal cover's closed. I'm going to look for Missy. Alpha 6.
A good view of one of the materials for ISS experiment packages, known as Missy. Again, a variety of witness plates and materials experiments in these boxes that fold up like a suitcase.
3 turns on the lower.
Attached to the Quest airlock, the 4th and 5th in a series of such experiments that will be detached through a series of retention pins that will be pulled out, and these experiment packages brought back inside to be returned to Earth.
Okay, Bravo 1, counterclockwise 2.
Okay, stand by. How you doing, Clay? I'm good. I got a handrail waiting for you. Okay, sounds good. Okay. And, well, thank you, Clay. You're welcome. That's great. Which direction? Oh, wow.
Top to the starboard side.
Ooh, man. Yeah, I can't miss that. Holy smoke. That's impressive. Can you see the eye? Oh, yeah. Yep, definitely. Oh, yeah. Wow. Man, that's impressive. Scary. Only impressive when they're not coming to you. That's true.
A good view from the Port 1 truss camera on the International Space Station, showing the 2 spacewalkers, Dave Williams, Clay Anderson, as they wrap up work fastening and mating electrical connectors for this wireless instrumentation antenna at the forward end of the Destiny laboratory. They are in the neighborhood right there of the docking interface between the forward docking port on Destiny, pressurized mating adapter number 2, and the orbiter docking system.
Good job, man. PGT's clear. Copy that. Thanks, man. Thermal cover's coming close. All right. Unfortunately, Dan has only one meaning, yes, he comes very fast. And here again, Endeavor done with all jobs here, and done very well. Had some problems, but very well and very good job here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everybody. And we ready. We will be here just a little more than 2 months. Come back again.
And you guys are my first crew, and you'll always be my first crew. Thanks for everything.
Physical separation, Houston.
Roger, physical separation.
Copy.
Undocking confirmed. Endeavour set sail from the International Space Station. Next port of call, Kennedy Space Center, Florida, Tuesday afternoon.
MCC Houston, MCC Huntsville, MCC Moscow, Endeavor from ISS, Endeavor departure.
Thanks for everything, Scott and Endeavor crew. Godspeed. I was proud to be a part of STS-118. And Endeavor, have a good landing.
Thank you very much, Scott, and all your crew, and have a good trip to S. And say hello at home, everybody from us too.
And to the ISS crew, we couldn't have gotten everything we accomplished without you guys. We thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you back on planet Earth.
Yes, Scott, thank you. Until we see again.
Endeavour's Commander Scott Kelly taking over the flight of Endeavour to move around the imaginary cylinder and set up for the final approach at the desired heading, altitude, airspeed, and rate of descent towards the Kennedy Space Center shuttle landing facility, just under 4 minutes to touchdown. Endeavour is flying around the imaginary heading alignment circle. Just under 3 minutes to touchdown, Endeavour flying at an altitude of 28,000 feet at 500 miles per hour.
Endeavour, on at the 180.
On at the 180.
Endeavour, on at the 90.
On at the 90.
Endeavour continuing around the heading alignment circle, 2 minutes to touchdown, flying at an altitude of 17,000 feet, traveling at 400 miles per hour.
Houston, Endeavour, field in sight.
Houston copies.
Transceivers on Endeavour are interacting with the microwave landing system stations on the ground to provide the best available range, elevation, and azimuth information to the onboard computers and the cockpit instruments. 1 minute and 20 seconds to touchdown. Endeavour is on path for the targeted landing at the Kennedy Space Center. 1 minute to touchdown. Endeavour's descent rate is 20 times higher and 7 times steeper than a commercial airliner on this final approach to the Kennedy Space Center landing facility. The landing gear is down and locked. Main gear touchdown. Nose gear touchdown. Deploying of the drag chute delayed to assess the conditions of the crosswinds on the orbiter as it rolls out on the runway 15 at the Kennedy Space Center, wrapping up a nearly 5.3 million mile mission. Endeavour returning the first educator mission specialist Barbara Morgan to Earth to begin the next step in her journey to inspire future generations to explore, learn, and build a better future.
Houston, Endeavour, wheel stop.
Roger, wheel stop, Endeavour. Congratulations, welcome home. You've given a new meaning to higher education.
Got the first video now from underneath Endeavour. And there we can see the damaged area appearing at first look to have come through re-entry quite well. And our flight crew now leaving the crew transport vehicle, led by our Commander Scott Kelly. They're being greeted by our NASA Administrator, Michael Griffin, and NASA Launch Director, Mike Leinbach, and our Associate Administrator for Spaceflight, Bill Gerstenmaier.